Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Search. I'm Elliot Manning. Today I'm joined by Mark Nelson. Mark and I actually worked together, I think, for a short stint about, feels like forever ago, 12 years ago now, something like that. I was doing hospitality recruitment and so was Mark. And we've been in contact ever since. Great guy, has done incredibly well in recruitment throughout his years, but I'll let you introduce yourself, Mark.
Yeah, hi, Elliot. Mark Nelson. As you said, worked together, I think it was about 2007.
Something like that,
old early days just up the road from the Ivy. I think we had a few little perks with the restaurants around there.
Yep. It was very nice. It was good to be in hospitality. You had access and probably the know of all the restaurants out there at the time. So it was great fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a great perks. Go out and do some meetings. I remember I did do a meeting once and met Gordon Ramsay.
Really?
Halfway through the meeting, yeah.
I don't think I got any good clients. I think the best client I had was Hakkasan, and I put a chef in there and he got me a free meal and that was it, after that. But other than that, it was quite hard to get in front of it, where I wanted to be. But do you know what? Like all the meetings and client meetings, you're in a restaurant, you can have a nice drink. It was good fun, wasn't it?
It was.
Back in the day. But now you've moved over into a completely new area of recruitment. You've been in healthcare now for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah, I originally started off, fair enough, in healthcare back in '99 when I was a chef first hand. So I'd done my training at Langhans and fell into recruitment just in a bizarre kind of way at my ex-wife Nan's funeral, but that's a different story. Yeah. And I met someone there who got me into doing recruitment and worked at that company there for a number of years and Brilliant. Decided that I was actually quite good at it and I actually enjoyed it as well. So
you've been stuck with the whole of fast-paced temp side of recruitment for many, many years now, right? And that's something that you know very well.
Yeah, I mean, I did do a little bit of perm, but me personally, I think whether it come from my chef background and getting that little buzz when you're in the kitchen all the time, the fast pace of the temp recruitment, even when we was in hospitality, it was quite busy then, but the healthcare is the closest buzz I think I can get as working in the kitchen when all the shifts are coming in all the time. You work with various portals, different hospitals, homes who use different ways of giving you your shifts, and they need it ASAP, a lot of them. So you're on it 110% all the time there enough.
I know. I mean, I did healthcare for a couple of years back in a long time ago, about 10 years ago, for a company called Medics Pro, which was urban back then. And I remember it was all just passive framework that came into play at the time, which was quite straightforward. And now the frameworks and the whole system is a completely different kettle of fish compared to how it used to be, right?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you've got the different frameworks. You've had the caps that came in back in 2015, which totally changed the temp market in terms of how agencies worked and obviously their margins, etc., and how that went from 2005 right through to 2016. Obviously, the compliance is very heavy as well in healthcare. So you're dealing with people's lives. You've got to make sure everything's on and you get inspected all the time. But like I say, that's some part of the buzz of making sure that everything's working and keeping everyone informed, I suppose, of what's happening.
Well, look, the NHS is a big service at the end of the day. They've got to keep it under control somehow, right? And that's kind of the only way they can do it is by making sure that anyone that's put into it is totally compliant and put in it, in the right way. I mean, as I said, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was just kind of a free-for-all, right? You just throw anyone and anyone in. So bit different nowadays. But in terms of kind of where you've moved to now, you've been in the city, you've been out of the city, you've been, you're at a point now where you're at a strong point in your career, sales management, overseeing everything. But how's that transition and that journey been for you over the years, working your way up through the ranks and, the different businesses and sizes of businesses as well?
Yeah, it's been good. I've worked and learned lots of various different people. And like I say, I'm always learning, even at the ripe old age of 46. Still always willing to listen and learn to what someone says. I've been lucky enough to work, like I say, with some great guys and listen to some guest speakers at places I've worked. But I think what's been good for me and helping the newer guys or the younger generation, shall I say, is because I've done that job.
Yeah,
I'm on helping them, teaching them, coaching them, whichever way you want to say. But because I know it and I've done it. I haven't been a manager who's just come in and said, right, okay, this is what you've got to do. This is how you do it. I understand what they're saying. I can sympathise with what they're trying to do. And also if they're trying to pull the wool over my eyes, I know what they're trying to do.
Definitely. Have you seen a massive change in, I mean, look, let's go back to this. So you've worked in some really large, recruitment businesses, and this is a question I really wanted to ask you. So having worked in a very large organization in the healthcare recruitment market and transitioning to a firm that's, a lot more of a smaller size to an extent, which I'm just making an assumption that, Nursdoc a little bit smaller than, ICG from where you were before. Is that a big change in culture and a change in management style for you, or?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, here it is a smaller company, but we've got more branches off of it. There's a lot more that Nursdoc, we're part of the Galago group. So we've got other avenues within Galago that we do. We do driving, we've got perm, which is Daxter, quick temp. We also got a strong home care team as well, which is operated on a different side. So it is very much a different atmosphere, a different culture here to say when I was at ICG. It was a lot more, it was up London. I learned a lot and worked with a great director up there, Michael Hillier, and gave me the opportunity to go to India and spend just under a month out there helping them grow the Indian team. And it was all building out there in terms of compliance and doing some bookings. So that was good. And I say I learned some different people skills
I'm sure.
working uptown, and then coming here where it is, we still do a lot of business. We do a lot with all kinds of the healthcare care market, privates, etc. But I think sometimes, and some people might say different, I think the kind of people that are coming through now are different. Whether lockdowns changed a lot, sometimes I think sort of the work dynamics of how people carry themselves has changed a lot from how, and times have changed. I mean, if I look when I first started this back in the late 90s, and the world has changed. What you could get away with then and what you can get away with now are two different things, which
of course, another story there. I think ultimately, like, recruitment's changed massively even since I started doing Rec to Rec. The demand and the pace and the busyness of recruitment is just gone absolutely crazy, and everyone kind of finishes school, and whereas like myself, I fell into recruitment through contacts. So you fell into everyone seems to fell into recruitment, they've been in it for quite some time, especially people on this podcast. But nowadays people come out of school and uni and they're like, I want to get into recruitment, and how do I get into it? And they start applying to do it, and it's so different now. But I mean, the ways that it works nowadays compared to how it used to is a lot different. I completely agree with you there. But what about like your style? What's your management style, Mark? What do you think's different? What gives you that kind of way of working that that works for you?
I like to get people to work for me. I've always, like I said, the way I've been various training, like I say, and coaches that I've had through my career is I know what works for me and what to get the best out of me. So most people pretty much work similar to how I do in terms of put a little arm around and find out what that little thing is that they want, and get them to buy into it. And I also try to make sure that people buy into me. I think that's a key thing. I mean, I've managed some people, and I'm sure people have managed me, and same with yourself. You've got to believe and make sure that they believe in what you're saying as well. And it's how you sell it to them and make sure it's all coming out in the right angles, so to speak. So, I mean, I'm very much a hands-on manager here, and I enjoy that. I enjoy getting down, talking to people, and trying to explain to them that with this care industry, because it is care-led, it is all about relationships. And it's how you build that relationship. When it goes down to everything, working with your candidates, working with your clients, it all comes down to trust, ultimately, and that you'll work together. The hashtag one team kind of thing, or however you want to say it, is very much you've got to believe in what you're doing so they can believe in it. If you know what you're doing, the knowledge, they will come to you.
Fine. Who taught you, Mark? Where did this all come from? Do you think this has come from all experience of, doing this for many years, that you've learned from different styles and different people, or have you put yourself out there to do it another way?
I've had a few training courses, say at different companies I've worked at, do different ones. I've taken bits from everyone. Yeah. When we was at ICG, we had Greg Searle, one of the was he gold winner rower in the Olympics. He used to do a number of speeches for us, and some of the stuff that he used to say still rattles around in my head now, going back on just how to get that team working together. And I suppose by listening to what he said in certain elements of when they all used to go out there and live in one hut, him and his brother used to share a bed and doing everything together. But by getting that team ethic, I've tried to install that in all of the teams that I've worked with or grown over the years, because it's, again, as I say, a team atmosphere. If you all feel the highs together, you feel the lows together. And that's the way it's got to go. And if everyone does that, then everyone's happy.
That's good to know. Everyone's got different ways and means and mentors. And have you got a mentor? Is someone you look up to or has helped you along the way?
I've got a couple of people, and let's say one like Michael I mentioned earlier. Me and him have always gotten well. We started working together many years ago, and he went off and done his own thing. But then we crossed paths again when we worked at ICG. And I still get on well with him. I still talk to him quite a bit. When I left working with him last time, I did go to him to ask him some questions that I wasn't sure on. I think, okay, right, the best way to do it. And he's gave me some good advice that way. So, yeah.
What's your thoughts on this, right? So you've come into recruitment, you've been in it for 6 months, maybe you've not even been in it at all. And you need to choose which sector of industry and area of recruitment you want to go into. Everyone aspires straight away. They think most cases, I want to get into tech. That's where the most money is, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I've seen recruiters in healthcare earning, 150, 200 plus K, a year, just because of the way that they work their desk, just like it would be in any sector. But how would you advise, or what would you advise a recruiter getting into the industry to choose how to choose their market and, going into healthcare? Why, how does that even...
I think you've got to know your market is obviously the key one with anything. We've recently took 5 new people on here through an induction that we went through. And obviously healthcare, there's a lot of terminology that goes with that, different jargon, as there is with anything, even like say with the IT side. And I would probably, if it was me, do my research, talk to other recruitment consultants, maybe just do some random calls and find out how the market is, and LinkedIn, use that, get talking to people on there to find out how they're finding it, and what works for them. I suppose it's probably more for me, I'm quite a personality kind of guy. So I look for what would work for me, but also that environment as well. There's no point going somewhere if you could earn a lot of money, but if you're not going to be happy, I don't know, maybe that's just my age thing now, that bringing that out.
No, it's what a lot of people say.
You've got to enjoy what you're doing. If I didn't enjoy doing healthcare, I wouldn't have been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I am passionate about that. If someone come to ask me, I'll do them a very good job at selling them why healthcare recruitment. Yeah. You could probably do the same, selling them why rec to rec or...
Yeah, no, exactly. But do you know what the thing is that, and I don't see that a lot of people notice, even like education recruitment, there's so much money, potential and opportunity to make a fortune in the public sector that, people sometimes disregard it as, as being, there's more opportunity in tech or banking, but then that might not suit their personality. And there's so many recruiters that have gone into those professional markets, can't understand, get on with it, figure it out. And they go into public sector and they absolutely smash it because it suits them a lot more.
I tried many years ago, I tried a bit of IT recruitment and I couldn't get on with it. It didn't work for me. I just couldn't get the hang of all the different jargon. And as it was perm, it was a little bit more slow paced. So I was bored as well. I needed something I could carry on doing all the time. But obviously you talk about the money side of it. Obviously you've had the caps on within the NHS. I believe, and I don't do education, there's been something similar on that side.
Possibly,
and now you've got the lovely IR35, which obviously hit the nurses and the public sector back, was that 2017, quite hard, and that hit a lot of the margins and commission that consultants were taking home, and now that's coming into the private sector in April, unless anything changes.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I did IT for about a year before I jumped into the healthcare market. I liked it, didn't think it was a bad market to be in, but when I walked into the healthcare space, I felt like I got to be myself a bit more. And actually, as much as it was technical and quite tough, fast-paced, demanding, everything, I could say about it, it was really enjoyable, and I liked it a lot. It's just, it was just quite tough at the time when they started throwing in the frameworks, into the mix when they'd never been there before, so I decided to change. But then now people go into it, they're kind of used to it from day one. So yeah, I get it. I've seen both sides of it, and I've spoken to, as you can imagine, many recruiters that tell me everything, about the markets that, we're working with. What note or final note kind of thing would you say to someone who is, been in the market through, let's just say you can tell me firsthand, they've been in the healthcare market through this pandemic. You guys have been working absolutely, I'm assuming, extremely hard with everything that's been going on. Has it changed your mindset of recruitment's just recruitment, or is there a little bit more kind of inspiration behind it now that you're kind of really having to push to help the NHS?
A lot has changed in the last 6 months. We're doing probably some things we wouldn't have done in terms of how we liaise with candidates, obviously Zoom calls, etc., and with clients. And where healthcare predominantly hasn't been block bookings, etc., and stuff like that, because it's been very much we need someone this day, then we don't need someone, then we do a lot of work with private hospitals, a lot of work with care homes as well. Guys coming out a little while ago with the government saying they want to stop people going in the care homes. That made it very hard, so we had to adjust on how we was going to cope with that. So we switched into talking to our clients and asking them, right, if we want to get someone who's going to work with you, will work with you, won't go anywhere else. Obviously, just to minimise the risk of COVID. So a lot has changed, and we've had to work a lot quicker. And it's been awkward.
It's been up and down as well in the healthcare. Yeah, it's been up and down as well in the healthcare space. I don't think it's because of the demand. I just think it's because everyone kind of didn't know what to do next and where to go with it and how it was going to plan out. And I don't think that was obviously anyone's fault in terms of from a recruitment perspective. It just is the way the market was going, wasn't it, at the time, or even now?
Yeah. I mean, you've had clients have wanted stuff, but they can't have it because they're not allowed, or they're not allowed people in the home. And we've obviously patients and various things getting cancelled, operations, etc. Getting cancelled. There hasn't been the need as there has been, I think. Like I say, we've been quite in our office. We've got a nice office here. It's very well spaced out. So we had that minimal distance of each other. We was all shouting across the office, but you know, that was a bit more fun as well. We were shouting at each other to pick the phones up. And but it personally, I think it was good us being in the office. Some people working from home, but we were here and we managed to carry on with the business, and it's still getting stronger.
Good. And what's just my next question? What's the plans now for the next few months in the business? You guys hiring, you're looking to grow. What's the situation?
We're constantly looking to recruit. Like I say, we hired another 5 staff. When was it? It was literally just after when the last lockdown finished, and they've come in and we've gone through their induction, and happy and pleased to say that all of them, all 5 of them, are all actually billing now.
Good.
In less than 6 months. I've got 2 of them on my team, and they're all billing. As with anything, we're always open up to new ideas and constantly taking on new people. We do various sectors, and if anyone else is looking out there, drop me your details,
we'll definitely
email,
be telling them, mate.
Be more than happy to have a chat.
Well, look, once we get this
Yeah.
out to market, you know, in terms of from this podcast perspective, there's a lot of recruiters out there that I'm sure will be interested in having a conversation with you if they live around, obviously, your area of where you guys are based. Is in Putney, did you say? Then they can reach out.
Purley.
Oh, Purley, sorry, Purley. Then they can
Purley,
reach.
so Purley, Croydon.
Fine, all south. Oh, yeah, basically south of the river. So if anyone is.
South River.
Yeah, that's how I call it anyway. From that's our recruitment term in here. I'll put your details on there, your company details, and if they want to reach out to you directly, feel free to do so. If you want a personal introduction to Mark, you know, just ask me and I'll send you in the right direction and let you know kind of what the score is. And but look, I mean, ultimately, if anyone's trying to get into recruitment, they've got any questions about whether you know the healthcare market should be for them or could be for them, then definitely talk to Mark about it. He's been doing this for a long time, so he knows the pros and cons of it. But as he said before, he'll be able to sell you into it quite easily. It is a good market. I've done it before. I think you can make an absolute fortune in it and also make a real big difference into the NHS at the same time. But ultimately, if you like the fast-paced buzz of recruitment, it's a great place to be. But otherwise, Mark, listen, I mean, I won't keep you too long, mate. It's the end of the day now. I know you want to get home and you've got a nice little bar in your garden to have a little drink in. So go and enjoy it, mate.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time, Mark. And, you know, again, anyone needs anything, just let us know. Mark, we'll definitely be in touch, mate. But definitely, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. And thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.